Hello, let's practice today's yoga. Get yourself in a seated position, whether that is kneeling, cross-legged, maybe with your legs outstretched in front of you, possibly even on a chair to start with. Just get yourself comfortable. You could have a wall behind your back, helping to keep it lifted and supported. We're going to take this time to tune in to our flow of breath. You can close the eyes, as this will help you take an inward view to connect with your inner self. Be aware of the air directly in front of your face. You can feel its temperature touching on your skin. And you acknowledge as you draw it into your nostrils and it travels down the back of the throat, down further, deeper, along the trachea, and it splits into two pipes known as the bronchi. One bronchi entering your left lung, one entering your right lung. And as the air goes through the bronchi, it then enters the lungs, bringing them to life, filling them from bottom to top. Inflation of the lungs takes place as they grow in size, as the breath draws in. Make your breath in a long one. Take that breath right in and feel it coming up into the shoulders. Perhaps take an extra sip at the top. And then the returning passage empties the lungs from top to bottom, and the air is forced up into the bronchi by the deflating lungs, squeezing the air out. The air travelling up the bronchi then meets at the trachea, rises up and exits at the back of the pharyngeal area. Taking longer, deeper breaths has many benefits for your bodily functioning systems, especially that of the nervous system. Nice, long, deep breaths calm and soothe the nervous system. Full, conscious breaths allow you the ability to increase the capacity of your lungs and develop cleansing of the lining of the lungs. All of these things assisting in building a great immune system. Remember this. And then we'll open our eyes and we'll start giving some space and stretch and movement to our body. So from whichever position you're in, just bring your feet to become hip width apart. We're going to take a breath in and we're going to draw the heel of the right foot in towards the perineum, and then we'll bring the heel of the left foot to rest in front of the right. If you find that either of the knees or the thighs are rising up and feel unsupported, then get yourself a cushion and place each side so that the muscles in the legs can actually relax, for they'll feel supported. The tendons, the ligaments, they'll all feel supported, and thus contraction will lessen and suppleness will move in. Let's rise up through the trunk of the body. With a breath in, we create space. We can feel the upward lift of energy rising up through the spinal cord. You have 33 bones in your spine. Rise up through all of them. The base of the spine, the coccygeal region and the sacrum are flat and fused. However, when it leads into the dorsal lumbar region, the thoracic, the cervical, they all become individual vertebrae. And as you lift and create space within the spine, the individual vertebrae rise up and the discs in between them, they then find themselves having a bit more space to breathe and to imbibe the oxygen that you are drawing in with every breath. So it's very beneficial to create space. Allow the oxygen to find every atom and molecule of you, a living organism. Let's bring our right hand outside of our left thigh or left knee now, and we'll take our left hand behind the base of the spine, and we can almost use that left arm as a prop so that it really straightens us up. We're still thinking about creating space externally and internally. The mind is infinitely powerful, and the messages that it sends to your body will be responded to. Just take the time to observe the communications, to activate the communications of your mind with your body. So breathe in, rise up, and you're going to begin to rotate to the left. This is a full twist of the whole of the spinal cord, so you're using all the bones. You're going to turn from the base first of all, then through the lumbar dorsal, and then through the thoracic spine. There's 12 individual vertebrae of the thoracic spine, and these are connected to the rib cage. You have 12 bones either side on the ribs, and they're all rotating now to the left, anti-clockwise. Then you'll turn at the cervical spine, and it will be your head and your neck that turn last. At the very uppermost of your spinal cord is the axis and the atlas vertebra bones, and they are connected to the skull by way of a pivotal joint which allows for great potential of movement. And whilst you're in the fullness of the twist, tune into your belly button. Be aware of its activity, synchronized with your breath. And then keeping the lift and the space you've created as you return to a central position. Unclench your teeth, scan the body for any pockets of tension you may be holding on to, and sigh them out, release them, let them go. They are no longer valid, they are not needed. Just let them go. And then we'll twist the spine in the opposite direction. So we'll bring our left hand outside of our right knee or right thigh. We'll take our right hand and place it as close to the base of our spine as we can, so it actually helps sit us more upright. A breath in, pick up internally, pubis to navel, navel to breastbone, and begin rotating clockwise. Turning from the base of the spine, through the middle, to the top. The whole time observing the movement, taking the mind and the body with the movement, activating the skin on the torso, on the trunk of the body. Get the torso helping the spine in this movement. Unclench your teeth. Breathe. Stay tuned in with your flow of breath and the activity within the stomach. No over twisting is necessary. Use no force. You are not in competition with yourself. Indeed, it's better to be kind and gentle to yourself. And as you take another breath in, you return to the central position, tuning in, being aware of how you feel internally and externally. And then let's release the feet. And this time we'll bring the left heel into the perineum first. So a nice breath in. Draw the heel of the left foot in as close as you can. And then the right heel placed in front of the left. Don't judge yourself if that doesn't work for you at the moment. You can have your feet out in front of you with the soles of the feet touching. It's all about taking your time, feeling your way, tuning in to your skeletal frame and acknowledging the great potential for movement that the skeleton has. If you're able to visualize your skeleton, you're giving yourself a head start on movement because you'll have greater understanding of how the joints in your body work. So it's even good to take a look at a picture of the skeletal frame and really get to grips and become understanding of your skeleton. Ensure that the trunk of your body is nice and straight by checking in with the head and shoulders. Are they resting over the hips? Avoid having too much of a lean forward or slouching at the shoulders, rounding them forward, because this in effect will cause the rib cage to press down into the stomach, and that scrunching up it makes it less able for the oxygen to reach the organs inside the trunk of your body. So you really want to get that nice upward elevation, head and shoulders over the hips. Let's do a forward flexion of the spine now. So we'll bring the right arm in front of us, have it perpendicular to the floor, so it's on a nice horizontal line so that it can reach forward. And the aim is to bring the elbow, the forearm and the hand to the mat together. Don't judge yourself if this isn't going to happen in your practice today. It's just as good to enable the forearm to rest in the lap. And it's all about the space you create. So we're lifting up when we breathe in, and we're thinking about our hips as this is the origin of the movement. And if we pick our hips up, they will be able to hinge over the femur bones with greater results. So moving slowly, you'll be consciously controlling the movement. Bringing that elbow, forearm and hand to the mat. We're going to rest our left hand on our left inner thigh, and now we'll bring a twist of the spine in to play. Create space from your tailbone to the crown of your head, ensuring that both sitting bones are still connected with the ground beneath you. So avoid coming too far forward and having your buttocks rise away from the mat. At all times, you want your buttocks to retain their grounded connection with the mat. A nice breath in, and then we'll rotate, twist the spine to the left. We'll then release the left hand and raise it up, stretch it up, reaching up to the fingertips, looking up beyond the fingertips, almost as if you want to reach and touch the ceiling. And then we'll bring the hand down, pull the tummy in, strengthen the spine and support it as you return to that central position, and preparing for the other side. Lifting the skin on the sides of your body, thinking about the lower back area and the skin there, some of which might be a bit sluggish. A message from the mind to that part to activate, awaken and engage. Tell the skin on the back to lift up, to give you that assistance in a forward flexion. Keeping your sit bones connected with the mat as the forearm, elbow and hand come down in front of you. Your right hand resting on the inner right thigh. Breathe in and pull up internally, pubis to navel, and think of lifting the tummy. And then we'll begin the rotation to the right, twisting the spine, releasing the right hand and raising it up to the ceiling. Stretch up from the right hip to the right rib cage, from the right rib cage to the right armpit, from the right armpit up the arm, past the elbow, past the wrist to the fingertips. All the time still breathing, unclenching the teeth, unfurrow the brow. And then a breath in, pulling the tummy in towards the spine as you return to your upright position. Bring the hands under their respective knees, draw those in and extend the legs in front of you and give them a little bit of a shake. Take a nice deep breath in, bring the shoulders up, exhale, round them back and down. We're now going to take our legs to widen. Now, the one thing to remember here is if you take your legs too wide, as in the ego tells you to get them as wide as you can, and your knees start to come off the mat and leave a gap, that is telling you that your legs are too wide. So you bring your feet to a position where you can be comfortable with the legs connecting fully with the mat beneath you. You want your toes, shins, knees and upper thighs all pointing up to the ceiling. So if you find that your toes start rolling in because you've taken your legs too wide and your knees start rolling in, again, close them down. Get them to a position where you are correctly aligned. Rise up through your torso. Exhale. Remember to stay tuned to your lungs inflating and deflating. With good breath cycles, you will continually be increasing lung capacity and detoxification of the lungs by exhaling fully, and the lining of the lungs will be cleaned. And so these two things go toward a greater immune system. You can take your hands one at a time, right hand, grab the flesh of your right buttock, pull it out from behind you and up into the small of the back. Avoid pulling it out to the side. We don't want to spread our muscle mass out to the side. We want to take it up into our back. Do it with the opposite hand and the opposite buttock, and you'll actually feel that it tilts you a little bit further forward. It just shifts you onto your pubis and the ischium, the very base of the pelvic basin. Let's have our hands in front of us. Nice deep inhalation, lift the stomach internally. And as you begin to walk the hands forward, hinge the hips over the thigh bones. Get your hands to a position that feels comfortable for you. Then take a breath in. Exhale, bend the elbows, drawing them down towards the mat. If they're not reaching the mat, that's fine. It can be a tiny little flex of the elbows that you give. This just gives you that minuscule progress forward. And again, you by now understand that it's a persistent, persevering practice that brings results. All too often, the human being requires a quick fix. They want everything immediately. Yoga is not an immediate fix. It is long-term with benefits that continue to reward and reap if you continue your practice. Let's pull the stomach in and walk the hands in towards your central alignment. So once again, your head and shoulders are now positioned directly over your hips. Breathe in and create space. We're going to bring our right hand outside of our right thigh and our left hand placed in line along the inner thigh. So you're going to turn the trunk of your body now. Bring your left shoulder forward, take your right shoulder back a little bit. You want it so that you can feel the trunk of your body is centered over your right leg. Nice deep inhalation. Exhale, surrender, but do not collapse into the posture. Now, if you have a belt or strap, you may use it at this time because we're going to be looking toward gripping onto our feet, holding onto our feet. But if you can't reach your feet, your toes, then use a belt or strap. We'll take a nice deep inhalation, lift and create space, and then bring your left hand forward and see if you can catch outside of the right foot. So effectively your left hand is capturing around the right little pinky toe, and this just helps give you a extra twist to get you over that right leg centered, aligned. Release the right hand and see if you can place it on the inside of the right foot, so your wrists have crossed. Again, if you're unable to do this, holding onto the foot or the toe, do it at the belt. You've got the belt under the ball of the foot. So every time you breathe in, you're creating space, and you can feel it because your breath is your guide. It will motivate you into the posture, into the movement. When you breathe out, allow those elbows to bend away from each other. Take the crease out the back of the neck so that your vision, your view is looking down toward your right shin. Ensure that your left sitting bone is still connected to the mat. And breathe. And then one at a time, we're going to release the right hand, the left, and we'll walk those fingertips in towards the trunk of our body. And once again, we are centered. Now to the other side. The left hand comes outside of the left thigh, the right hand in line with the left inner thigh, and bring your right shoulder forward as you draw your left shoulder back. Check your alignment. The trunk of your body central over your left leg. Breathe in. Lift pubis to navel internally. Lift the flesh externally, especially around the hips. Bring the right hand up and forward, connecting it to the outer edge of your left foot. Bring your left hand up and connect it to the instep of your left foot. Be aware if you've pulled your shoulders right up to your ears, the ego in its race to get as far forward and to gain the fullness of the position in next to no time will possibly have you working on just lifting around the chest. So you'll be doing a lot of this. You want to avoid that. Drop the shoulders away, relax the shoulders and pick up from the lowest part of the body first, the foundation. Ensure that your right sitting bone is still connected with the mat. So if you've come forward too far and you're getting this gap here and your buttock has picked up, you need to come back out of the position a little. Use your belt or strap around the ball of your foot and hold on to that. And as you exhale, take those elbows away from each other, so effectively they're bending outward. The aim is to draw the nose down towards the shin. Look towards the shin. And then release the right hand, release the left hand, tummy pulls in to the base of the spine, supporting it, strengthening it as you restack the bones of the spine. Come back to your central position, relax the shoulders, unclench the teeth and breathe. So we've done forward flexions of the spine with a twist. We're going to do a lateral flexion of the spine now, which we know is a sideways extension. It gives us this beautiful stretch through the sides of the body, and over time helps reduce our fat deposits around the waist and the hips. And if you get onto this sort of practice as a young person, you could eradicate that altogether, and you will never have too much of a spare tyre around the waist. So let's bring our right hand and take it down to the mat in line with our right leg. So your right elbow will draw in towards the right inner thigh, and your right hand will draw down towards the mat. Again, if you can't get to this point at the moment, non-judgment on yourself, rest it along the leg for now. You can practice here, just creating space and feeling your way along the leg. Remember yesterday we practiced Parigasana, the gate posture, where we stretch the hand down the leg. So this is same principle, but if you can get the arm down onto the mat, do so. Breathe in, raise the left arm up, reach up into the fingertips, rotate the arm from the shoulder girdle, so you've turned it fully from the shoulder rather than just turning your wrist and your hand. And you can already feel this great stretch commencing from the left hip, and you're drawing the flesh around the hip and the waist up towards the rib cage. And then that left hand will continue to come over the left ear, heading down towards the right toes. Non-judgment for where your practice is today. Just connect with your breath, remembering that every time you breathe in and breathe out, you are able to increase lung capacity, develop lung cleanliness, and increase your immune system. Ensure both sitting bones are connected with the mat. As soon as one of those sitting bones comes away from the mat, that means your ego has taken you too far. Just ease off a bit. And then breathe in and return to your upright position. And let's go to the other side. So even in the foundation, the first part of the posture, you are already increasing your space. You're lifting, elevating every time you breathe in. Let's bring that left arm to our chosen position. Let's release the right arm and then raise the fingertips up, almost like you want to reach up and touch the ceiling. And then from the right shoulder, you turn the arm fully. You're lifting from the right hip, lifting the flesh, drawing all that lower flesh from around the pubis and the pelvic area and the stomach. You're lifting all that flesh up towards the rib cage. You keep your right sit bone connected with the mat. You tune into your breath. You unclench your teeth. Breathe. And then to come back to the centre, you use your stomach to support your spine. You rise up and a breath out. Let's gently, using the hands on their respective legs, breathe in, draw the knees to bend and bring yourself into a cross-legged position. Now you might like to centre yourself with a wall behind you so that your back is supported. Or if you feel fine sitting independently with a nice upright torso, then that's great too. Have your chin parallel with the mat, close the eyes. You might like to just rest the palms of your hands into your lap, comfortably. For now, you are going to tune into your flow of breath. You're going to recognize the activity of your belly button with the flow of your breath. You'll notice that every time you inhale, your belly button pushes forwards, your stomach expands as your lungs inflate, as your rib cage opens, as your chest rises. And then you'll notice that every time you exhale, your belly button pulls in, back and down towards the spine as the lungs deflate, as the rib cage closes, as the chest lowers. Tune in. Become aware of the breath experience. If the mind begins to wander, take it back to watch the breath. Make a sound in the back of the throat. It's like a sound every time you breathe in and breathe out. This sound will give the mind a focus, bringing it to be ever watchful of the breath. For breath is life, and good breathing equals particularly good health. Good breathing also has the ability to take you in deep, to meet with your internal self, to find that space inside you, that place where you can rest peacefully. Watch the breath and find your inner peace. Scan the body for any pockets of tension that you may have and simply let them go. You can eliminate them every time you breathe out. For breathing out is all about surrender. And then a nice deep breath in, bringing yourself to acknowledge the whole of your body and mind once again. Opening your eyes, bringing your hands together at your heart, being aware of the sense of peace you have found within yourself, and taking this forward with you through your day. Everything you learn on the yoga mat, you can apply to daily life. So give thanks for your practice and in the awareness that yoga is good for you.